At the beginning of the movie, we see a scientist who is angry that his research, digital life, which could save humanity by creating digital copies of all living people, is banned. It is the year 2044, and in the ruined Libreville, Zhang Peng tells the hero that in 100 years the sun will swallow the earth, and in 300 the entire system will be destroyed. Together with the man, Liu Peking flies to the huge walking mountain engine. The United Earth Government, or UG, has decided to save the planet with this project. The ion engines will soon allow the Earth to be taken to another star system suitable for life. Robots are engaged in their construction, which allows to speed up the work process considerably. Also, for the Walking Mountain project, it is necessary to build 3 engines on the moon. By taking the satellite away from the planet, mankind will be able to start the engines on Earth and break out of the solar system. However, because of the high cost, the project was considered questionable, and large-scale riots broke out in the streets. The UG building in New York is attacked. China's representative Zhu Zhezhai believes that the project should not be closed, as the sun will not wait for their new ideas. Liu, meanwhile, is preparing to go to the moon. During the commotion, the hero notices a beautiful girl named Han Dodo. On the space elevator, Liu and the girl go up to the IS Arc, which is under construction. After a test takeoff, the hero continues his training and gets to know Han better. Liu falls in love with the girl and even decides to give her flowers. However, at this moment, the training station is attacked by hackers. They manage to hack the flying machines, as well as the space elevator. Liu, who is in it, has no idea that in 35 minutes he will collide with the IS. Suddenly, the hero notices that several pilots are wearing suits with false names. It turns out that they were the ones who staged the attack and hacked into the center's system. The planes that took off start attacking people. The hackers get the pilots' personal information to gain access to the controls. Using his glasses, Liu burns through the circuit board on the door they were locked behind. The hero locks up Han to keep her safe, after which he decides to fight the hackers who have taken over the elevator. They, meanwhile, remotely control missiles to eliminate all the rising cockpits as well as the pilots. Liu continues to fight the hackers and saves one of the cabins. On Earth, a super-powered 550C computer is launched, which regains control of the planes and the elevator. Han gets out of his hiding place and helps the hero to get even with the hacker. However, fragments of the Ark and the space elevator fly to Earth. Numerous injured people are sent to the hospital. In UG, Zhu's assistant makes an appearance and informs that the launch of Walking Mountain will take place in 7 months. At the same moment, the lights go out in the hall and riots start in the streets. People realize that the digital life supporters have arranged it. Zhu talks to her assistant after the conference. The girl thinks it is unfair that such an important project has only a couple of engines out of tens of thousands 7 months before completion. The action shifts to the moon. Tu Hanyan leaves his life support chamber and follows to one of the compartments. There, the man takes out a powerful 550, a computer. Left alone, the man runs a digital copy of his daughter on the device. The first launch is 3 months away. A scientist named Ma arrives on the moon, bringing with him a 550C computer. Tu, along with a man, will use the device to supervise the construction and launch of the engines. Ma learns that his partner is communicating with his digital daughter, who only appears for a couple minutes due to the 550A's lack of performance. The man recalls that Tu lost the girl during the accident. Then, Ma allowed a digital copy of her to be made illegally, but now he doesn't want to give Tu the opportunity to insert a copy into the 550C. 3 days before the launch, a solar storm begins. Ma tries to save the computer, however it crashes. Tu almost loses her life trying to save the digital copy. Ma doesn't understand how to arrange a test run without the computer. Tu offers to give him the 550A, but in return asks them to continue developing the 550 series computers together. Ma agrees to these terms. The moon shifts slightly, which confirms the effectiveness of the engine. The test on Earth is also successful. Years go by. The hero marries Han, too returns to Earth to continue developing the computers. After the success of the experiment, the Yug suppresses the supporters of digital life. Over 5,000 engines are built on Earth in 14 years. In the year 58, the project is renamed Wandering Earth. There are 7 days left until the lunar crisis. The governments of all countries receive a threat saying that the same tragedies and attacks will happen this year as in the 44th year. Zhu asks his assistant to be on guard. The moon, with the help of the engines, begins to move away from the planet. Tu wants to rerun a copy of his daughter on a new super-powered computer 550W. The same device conducts a test of those wishing to go to the IS. That's also where Liu goes, who wants to secure a place for his son and wife in an underground city with his job. The computer reports that the hero is about to lose Han, who has 84 days to live due to radiation sickness. Liu freaks out at such cold-blooded messages. Sitting behind the glass, Tu sympathizes with the hero. Liu goes home and tries to spend as much time with his beloved as possible. There are 44 minutes left until the lunar crisis. At night, Tu decides to connect his daughter to the computer, even though he knows it is forbidden. Ma fails to stop him in time. The connection causes the lunar engines to explode. The technicians try to understand how such an anomaly could have occurred. Meanwhile, Liu decides to give his wife her last happy moments. The hero takes a military airplane and decides to take Han, who has always enjoyed being in the air, for a ride. Liu takes the woman to Shanghai, which she has missed for so long. Han says she doesn't want to take someone else's place in the underground city. Soon all the humans are receiving messages with strange numbers. On the moon, 3 engines fail at once. From this, the satellite changes its course and rushes with great speed to the Earth. Technicians calculate that there are 220 hours left before the collision. Scientists believe that it is necessary to start Earth's propulsion systems to avoid a collision. However, as long as the moon is near, it is too dangerous to launch propulsion systems. Because of the impending disaster, China decides to open all underground cities to increase the survival rate of the population. Liu receives a message that he has been accepted for service. The hero goes into space before making sure his family can take refuge in the underground city. However, Han does not live to see this point. Zhu speaks at the Yug Council and proposes to destroy the moon with the help of the weapons stored on it. The code sent should help in its activation. The plan is divided into 3 stages. First, it is necessary to deliver another supply of weapons from the IS to the moon. This will be done by the best pilots gathered from all over the Earth, including Liu. Second, the IS will be used to remotely activate the weapons to cause the destruction of the moon. On Earth, they are actively trying to decipher the resulting numbers to know the activation code for all the missiles. In the third stage, it is necessary to connect some of the Earth's engines to save the planet from the lunar debris. People on Earth realize that they have only half a day left for all this. Ma recruits a team of scientists to use a computer to decipher the code of numbers received in the message. The man decides to also take 2, as he realizes that he is the one involved in activating the engines on the moon. The man wants to refuse, but Ma blackmails him with his daughter's digital carrier. 12 hours remain before the moon falls. The flooding in Beijing renders some of the information centers inaccessible. Ma decides to sneak in to speed up the decryption process. Meanwhile, on the moon, the first item is being realized. Also, the Yu people decide to restore the internet, which will aid in the decryption. It's about 4 hours before it's turned back on. Underwater, Ma tries to penetrate the internet center. On the moon, the pilots try to reach the surface, but get caught in a belt of debris. Liu maneuvers between them, trying to save himself and his cargo. Some pilots are much less lucky and their ships disappear, crashing into the debris. Liu manages to reach the moon, but his ship is wrecked. The hero decides to sacrifice himself and stay on the satellite to activate the warheads. We are less than 2 hours away from impact with the moon. Ma loses one of his men, but remains determined. The man decides to use the computer to decipher the code. Together, Ma and Tu manage to activate the systems. Liu, meanwhile, uses a moon rover to deliver the shells to the right point. A catastrophe begins on Earth. Lunar debris reaches the surface and everything is destroyed. People try to hide in underground bunkers. One of the debris falls into the water near the internet's center. Ma gets trapped and sacrifices herself by giving Tu the necessary element. The decryptors realize that they need another 714 hours, while only 1.5 hours remain before the crash. However, a new hope appears. Volunteers must take the shells to the moon and activate them themselves at the cost of their own lives. Men over 50 years old volunteer to save their children and grandchildren. Liu sees them and tries to find his uncle. Meanwhile, Tu desperately fights the flooding to connect the internet. The hero decides to return to the IS for his son's sake. The elderly men prepare for the detonation and say goodbye to each other. Thanks to their bravery, the moon is destroyed. On Earth, the military and ordinary people salute the brave men who saved them. However, due to the lack of internet, it is impossible to turn on all Earth's engines and fly away from the wreckage. Their collision with Earth is expected in 3 days. Tu drowns in the incoming water, but still manages to record his consciousness on a digital copy. The man uses the code his daughter has memorized and connects the internet at the last minute. Ju demands that the engines be started when the countdown ends. Fortunately, all the systems manage to work in time, and the Earth's engines begin to carry the planet deep into space, saving it from the lunar debris. The Yu people, as well as Liu on the IS, can't contain their joy, realizing that they have saved all of humanity from a terrible doom. Zhu is sure that it was human bravery that helped them survive. The lunar debris is flying towards Earth, but the planet begins to move away from them at speed. People from all over the world take to the streets to look at the fragments of the moon blazing in the sky. The tides stop due to the absence of the moon, and the water begins to escape. In the year 2065, Earthlings continue to try to go beyond the solar system. There are about 10 years left before the crisis with Jupiter's gravity. 25 centuries later, Earth will reach its new home in Alpha Centauri.